A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
The Lord promised better things for us, okay? Because the Lord, Yahweh Shai, has a favorite people. And he's going to give this favorite people a heavenly kingdom. A kingdom that's blueprinted and formatted and patterned after his mind. How he want a kingdom to be.
Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothed the grass, which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
Hello.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the whole Philek out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the whole Philek, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. All right. And we're going into the days of World War III update. And we're just seeing some moves being made, you know, some some messages being sent, you know, from the east to the west. All right. And we're seeing the alliances, all right, that the scriptures speak of come together. All right. And understanding prophecy. Okay, even though there's, you know, no major confrontations, you know, of war, all right, well, major signals and statements are being made that pertain to prophecy. Okay, so let's go straight to it in the book of Revelation 16 and 12, all right, where you get this concept of the kings of the east. Okay, so let me All right, so let's get into it. Read these first few precepts in the book of Revelation, and then let's say a few videos I got, 2 videos I got want to go into, you know, just to show, you know, that we're seeing these things, you know, formulate real time right before our eyes. All right, so when you go into the book of Revelation chapter 16 verse 12, it says, "And the sixth angel poured out his vow, okay, upon the great river Euphrates, okay, in which you know the Euphrates River, all right, when you go into it, it's a river that separates, the land of Israel. It pretty much like a separation of the east and the west. Uh, you come in, there's no sound. Damn. Mm-mm. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me now. Is the mic off? Uh-uh. Yeah, y'all let me know if y'all can hear. Okay, we good? Okay, come. All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I hit the water. So let's get back into it. So the Euphrates, it's a separator between the east and the west, especially with these biblical alliances. Which I'm gonna pull up a map of the Euphrates River, okay, just so we can look at it. All right, and go into the different alliances that the Bible speak of. All right, so let's go here to a map of the Euphrates River. Okay, see, can we get a good map? Because right now it runs through, Syria, Iraq. Uh, see some that we can get a visual on of the Euphrates. Mm. See, can I blow it up? So when you go real quick, just to show where Euphrates is at. Um, so if you can see it on the map, all right, you see the Euphrates. It starts in Turkey, okay, and it comes down through Syria, and through Iraq. All right. So when you look at all the nations that's on the other side of the Euphrates, these are the nations that we're going to see is at these Chinese military parade. Okay, because behind the Euphrates, because right here beside Iraq, what you can't see is Iran. Okay, and you keep going east, what you get? You get India, all right, Russia, China, North Korea, okay, Belarus, which is all these different nations they're going to name that came to this military parade. Okay, I said we're gonna put emphasis on this alliance of the kings of the east. But this is where the Euphrates is at. All right, and the scriptures going to the kings of the east coming across the Euphrates. All right, because they're going to go to war with the West. All right, these small hats. Okay, America. All right, and before EU, flips on America. All right, hey, the kings of the east coming their way too. Okay, but mainly coming, all right, to the valley of Jehoshaphat, because to get to the valley of Jehoshaphat, all right, they have to come across the Euphrates River, okay, because the valley of Jehoshaphat is in what today will be considered, Western Syria, okay, and the Euphrates River goes across East Syria. So to get to the valley of Jehoshaphat, they will have to come across the Euphrates River, okay. So prophecy tells us that these things are going to happen because the Lord is gathering, all right, these nations, okay, for war, all right. So let's go back to Revelation, then we'll get into the video. So let's go here to Revelation 6 and 16 and 12. And it says, "And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the river thereof was dried up." Because we know the angels, all right, the angels have been assigned to play on the minds of these different leaders, okay? When the scriptures speak about the hand of the minds, all right, the king's heart is in the Lord's hand, and he driveth it whithersoever he will, or he uses an angel. He dispatched the angels to do that, you know. He dispatched the angels to play on the minds, okay, of the leaders. We see chariots going to and fro. Hey, they be dispatched on missions. you know, it said that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. All right, and we seeing, the kings of the east getting prepared. All right, and who are they prepared to come against? And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophets. Okay, and these three unclean frogs, what you have, DC is one of the unclean spirits. Okay, like frogs. All right, which represents the military branch of the West. All right, then you have, London, which represents the financial branch of the West. Okay, and then you have the Vatican, okay, which is the spiritual, okay, of the West, man, the spiritual headquarters of the West. All right, and it says, "And out of the dragon and out of the mouth of the beast," okay, which, the dragon is pagan Rome revived in the earth. All right, and today, it's a beast system of America, NATO, and EU. Okay, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, which is the Vatican, which is the mother, of Christianity, which is the biggest lie on earth. The doctrine of Christianity. Okay, but this all goes into the power structure of the West. Now the elites do have interest in, the East. Okay, but the East, all right, is a different has a is a different entity than the West. Okay, and we're seeing these two collide. All right, because this new world order, well, these nations are jockeying for position. Okay, and the East wants a multilateral new world order where you have several, superpowers. All right, but the West, America's still trying to hang on to that whore. She doesn't want to get off the beast. She wants to ride the beast into this new world order, where they're gonna blow her ass off the beast. Okay, and it says, "For they are the spirits of devils working miracles." All right, the technology, okay, the AI, you see, all these different things, that they present to the world, okay, is them transcending, okay, the norm, all right, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the God Almighty, all right, because the elites play both sides, okay, and they get rich off war. Okay, but see, they're used to managing the wars of the world. Okay, these conflicts where the elites are used to being able to manage these wars, all right, to benefit off of them, get rich. Okay, but see, in this time, they're not going to be able to benefit from this war. Okay, they're not going to be able to manage this war. It's going to go out of control because of why? Verse 15, "Behold, I come as a thief," because Yahweh Shai is going to enter into this. Okay, so what we're seeing happening is all a build up to Yahweh Shai, which is why we keep up with these things, man. "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Okay, so this is why, said, blessed is he that watcheth, because we're watching. This is what we're doing now. We're watching, man, because we believe, all right, Yahweh Shai is coming, all right, to get the victory, okay, over all these heathens, man, the east and the west. You see? But what we're seeing is the east and the west getting ready to collide, man. All right, and it's going to shake the world according to the scriptures. Now, let's go here. I want to get this this video dealing with this military parade. What does this mean? Okay, because this has been the talk, in the news dealing with the military parade. All right, so let's just go into it. And what do these things mean prophetically? Okay, so this is from the lead. I'm gonna let this play. We'll pause and commentate as needed.
中华 The Chinese nation is a great nation that does not fear violence and that stands independent and strong.
'China continues to dominate headlines this week, first with the SCO summit in Tianjin, where it tried to position itself as a stable and reliable partner. And now with the Victory Day parade in Beijing, where China is flexing its military muscle. You may have seen the pictures already. China held a massive military parade today, the first of its kind in 5 years. And what was the occasion? The 80th anniversary of China's victory over Japan in World War II. That's how they put it. So kicking off the spectacle was an 80-gun salute. This was China's largest ever military parade, the largest in their history. It was attended by 50,000 people, not to mention a long list of foreign dignitaries. There were more than 25 heads of state, including Russian President Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. These two were the guests of honor, Putin and Kim. They flanked Chinese President Xi Jinping at the parade. The event was replete with symbolism, starting from Xi Jinping's attire. He wore a Mao suit today, a suit similar to what Mao Zedong used to wear, clearly an attempt to channel Mao, the father of modern China, and that too on a day like this when Xi has outdone Mao. Xi Jinping has held more military parades than Mao Zedong. Even in the Mao era, China had a massive military. In terms of troop numbers, they were quite big. But their weapons were primitive. Today, Xi Jinping showcased a different PLA. That's what they call their military, the PLA, the People's Liberation Army. Today, they showcased a modern fighting force.
Yeah, this shit finna be epic. And you gotta think China is a manufacturing powerhouse, okay, and the rare earth minerals needed to create a lot of military hardware, well, most of it comes from China. See, China can produce everything, okay, damn near everything militarily right at home. Okay, then they have the population, which is the workforce, to just go crazy with the production. Okay, what we're seeing now is just a small portion. All right, they got several tens of thousands, millions of these different missiles and military hardware. Because these like missile defense systems, which they collab with Russia, with these missile defense systems, man. You know, all the missile silos. Okay, yeah, this war gonna be epic. You see, they getting ready to shake the earth, man. All right, when the east and the west finally collide, they gonna shake the earth. Okay, if a brother can put that Isaiah 9:6, or Isaiah 9:5, so like Isaiah 9:5. Yeah, man. You know, and I don't even what the hell is that? You see, I don't know if that's a torpedo or what. You see, but see, what we have to understand, all the militaries of the earth, they've designed their military just to fight America. Okay, all these major players of World War III that's going to come against America, the Lord has put the spirit on them to design their military just to come against, okay, the America, Babylon, the whore. Okay, because America's strength were those aircraft carriers. Okay, and you see, and if this is a torpedo, god damn, all right, so they formalized their military to because America's strength was those aircraft carriers, and what's on those aircraft carriers? Those fighter jets. They're able to pull up on your coast, leave off those aircraft carriers and go on those missions and bomb you to death, and then come back and land and refuel and uh, restock. Well, okay, with more missiles, then go back on another mission, and they just was able to do that repetitively, and that's how America has been able to project its power throughout, the world was through those aircraft carriers and those fighter jets, having that ability to have a floating airport, all right, and the floating, all right, load center with those aircraft carriers. Well, in this war, first off, they got now these nations got these missile defense systems, okay, which are going to bring them aircraft down, because even when uh Iran and the small hats got into it. Okay, you had Iran reportedly they took down 3 F-35s. Okay, with missile air defense system. The Western media didn't let that get out, but talks on the alternative world is that Iran had dropped 3 F-35s. Okay, they didn't go back to Israel. Okay, so what's going to happen in this war is America going to go with that same played out game plan, okay? And they're going to pull them aircraft carriers up, all right? And them aircraft carriers going to get sunk, all right? And if those jets do make it off those aircraft carriers, they not coming back, and they're not going to have nothing to go back to, okay? Yeah, but yeah, I had to look this up, see what this was a HSU 100. Yeah, but I'm gonna just play some more. All right, but yeah, these yeah, it ain't gonna go like the West think, man, especially America.
Although this force is still not battle tested, but the scale was staggering. 10,000 troops marched in Tiananmen Square. There were more than one. 100 aircraft and hundreds of other weapon systems. This includes conventional weaponry and advanced tech, from air defense lasers to stealth fighter jets, anti-ship missiles, undersea drones. Like I said, most of it is not battle tested, so take China's claims with a pinch of salt. They even showcased robot dogs, stealth fighter jets, anti-ship missiles, undersea drones. Like I said,
And like I say, those are lasers, you know. So those are lasers, man. This is gonna be some Star Wars type shit. This war, man. Okay. And why I say, hey, if brother can get that, how the Babylon have foreborn to fight. All right, because these American, these pampered, all right, American troops, man, they not ready for this shit over there in the East, man. Okay. Why scripture say they gonna be foreborn to fight. All right. So let's get this the beloved brother. All right, Yakanan, GMS Memphis, Yakanan Ba. And it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, man. Okay. This is gonna be a war of missiles, drones, and this gonna be a big boy. All right, it's gonna be a very destructive war. Okay. And these nations, you can see they invest a lot of their GDP into military hardware, which is all prophetic. So the brother got this, Joel 3 and 10, beat your plowshares into swords. And this what this looked like, beating your plowshare into swords. Okay, and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak sound strong. And China has never been this strong before. Economically, militarily, politically, they've never been this strong before. Okay. And that's just one, okay, of the elements. Okay, that's just one of the players that's going to come against, okay, the West, all right, in this war. You see, let's get this real quick. It says, Jeremiah 51 and 30 says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might have failed. They become as women, and it said they have burned her dwelling places. Yeah, so American troops, all right, it says her bars are broken. Okay, so American troops going to be getting theirs, all right, handed to them all throughout the earth. Okay, then eventually America, all right, their dwelling place is going to be completely destroyed. You see, this is going to go real bad for American military, man. Okay, to the point that those European nations are going to flip. Okay, and burn the whore. You see, so let's let this play some more.
most of it is not battle tested, so take China's claims with a pinch of salt. They even showcased robot dogs. That's right. Beijing's new soldiers are robot dogs. So China flexed serious military muscle today, but what was their real objective? What were they trying to do? They were trying to send a message to rivals and partners alike. For Xi Jinping, this was a chance to show progress, to highlight the rapid modernization of China's armed forces. The PLA now claims to have hypersonic missiles, unmanned aerial systems, counter-drone weapons, and cyber and electronic warfare tools. And they say all of it has been built at home. All of it is made in China. The idea is to signal that the PLA can wage war across all domains: land, sea, air, cyber, and space.
The Chinese nation is a great nation that does not fear violence, and that stands independent and strong. In the past, when confronted with a life or death struggle between justice and evil, light and darkness, progress and reaction, the Chinese people stood united, rose up in resistance, and fought for the survival of the country, the rejuvenation of the nation, and the cause of human justice. Today, humanity once again faces a choice between peace and war, dialogue and confrontation, mutual benefit and zero-sum competition. The Chinese people firmly stand on the right side of history.
For the US and
And he said, we're in a time of peace or war. Well, we know this is a time of war. Okay. You know, these nations, you know, they want peace, okay? But nah, the Lord, all right, has war on the agenda, okay? And that's why these nations are booting up. You see?
Its allies, Beijing had a political message too. Xi Jinping was flanked by Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong un, and their presence was no coincidence. It was a declaration of intent. China is shaping an anti Western alliance, and the guest list underlined this intent. Look at the attendees: Belarus President Lukashenko, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian, Cuba's Miguel Diaz Canel, and Myanmar's military chief Min Aung Hlaing. They were all there for the parade in Beijing, all united by one purpose: an opposition to the West, and by extension, an alignment with China. The West wanted to isolate these countries. Instead, they have come together and formed a coalition, one that China is happy to back. And the message was delivered to the intended recipient, US President Donald Trump. As the images from Beijing came in, Trump launched a fresh attack on Xi. He said China is conspiring against the US along with Russia and North Korea. Trump wrote a message for Xi on Truth Social. This is what he said: "Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong un as you conspire against the United States of America." This is America's response to China's parade, a presidential rant. Meanwhile, the US Congress is pushing sanctions on some Chinese officials. This is over the fentanyl.
Yeah, so you see, you know, they got the attention of your boy Donald J. All right, which they were sending a message. All right, now I looked up on the chat, so I asked the chat, what would the Kings of the East alliance look like today? Okay, so going back to Revelation 16 and 12, all right, dealing with the Kings of the East. Now it says modern interpretation of the Kings of the East, geopolitical view. It says from a modern perspective, the East generally refers to Asia. So the Kings of the East could present a coalition of powerful Asian nations. Candidates often include China, the most frequently cited, all right, due to its military size, economic power, and growing global influence. India, a rapidly growing power with massive population and military. Russia, though more north than east, all right, it is often grouped in due to the alliances with Eastern nations and anti-Western sentiment. Iran, located near the Euphrates River, often considered part of the end times drama, all right, in Bible prophecy, Ezekiel 38. North Korea, known for its militarism and isolation. Other Muslim or Central Asian nations, especially those aligned against, all right, Israel or the West. Okay, so these are the kings of the East. We're seeing that alliance happening real time. Okay, this is what we're watching, man. The chess pieces are being put in place now. All right, uh, let's go here. All right, it says some tie this to the current geopolitical alliances like BRICS, okay, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, now expanding, okay. Shanghai Corporation, military economic cooperation among Asian nations, okay. So, and to sum it up, say, what would the kings of the East look like today? China, all right, uh, lead superpower, okay. India, Russia, Iran, okay. North Korea, and Central Asian states, okay. And this is what we're seeing come to pass. All right. Now, the Shanghai Coalition, when you go into it, or the SCO, okay, you have China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, uh, Uzbekistan, all right, and it says India, Pakistan, Iran, and Belarus, and all these nations are what on the east, okay, of the Euphrates, all right. But the major players we know is going to be China, Russia, Iran, you know, North Korea, India, all right, Pakistan, all right, India, all right, and all these are nuclear countries, man. Okay, because even with Belarus, all right, they're allied with Russia, okay, and Russia is already housing nuclear weapons in Belarus, which is on the border of Poland, okay, going into Europe. You see, so yeah, man, everything is being put in place. All right, so I got another video I want to go to, man. Go holler at Uncle Paul, man. I ain't heard Paul in a while, man, but he's gonna touch on these parades, okay, and then also you got Trump, America, they're pretty much picking on Venezuela, okay, over there, which Venezuela has ties with Russia and Iran and China, okay. So there's a lot of little movements that's happening, and right, and it's just pushing everything closer to all right a direct conflict between these superpowers. Okay, so let's play this.
Hello, everybody. This is Paul from Off Grid Desert Farming News with Paul and Adrian. This is September the 3rd, 2025. I want to welcome you to our broadcast tonight. If this is your first time here, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss any of our breaking news. But I do want to thank everybody for all of your kind comments last night on our video with Adrian. Really appreciate that. I want to welcome everybody here. We have Gemini Dakota, Joto 73, Walk with God, Alaskan Marine Search, Stone Mountain Faith Christian Center, Second Recon 0326. Welcome to the channel, folks. Well, we've been warning of this. We've been telling you this was going to happen. Not only our channel, Canadian Prepper, and a lot of other prepper channels have been shouting this for a very long time, that we now have entered a period where anything could happen. Hello, Dave, Uncle Nene, Hanny, Davy Jones, or David Jones, Rhonda Landum, John G, Deborah, Exploring Kilowanan, West Kilo, I don't know where that is, British Columbia. Welcome to the channel. But we've been predicting this day for a very long time, and it looks like that we are almost here, folks. That we have in our armada, we have a naval armada sitting right off the coast of Venezuela. At least two marine amphibious assault aircraft carriers, 3 U.S. destroyers, a nuclear submarine. We have surveillance planes, other ships. A small armada has assembled in the Atlantic off of the coast of Venezuela. And why is this? If you have not seen the video with Larry Johnson, please watch it. But this has nothing to do with narcotics. This has nothing to do with Nicolas Maduro being a drug kingpin. Nicolas Maduro is not a drug kingpin, folks. That is the false flag. That is the reason that Trump is justifying this military deployment off of Venezuela. It has nothing to do with drugs. It has more to do with either taking him out with a decapitation strike, somehow getting control of the oil and the mineral resources in Venezuela. And most likely, the reason that we are sitting off of Venezuela is to protect our back, the Atlantic Ocean, from Russia or China moving forces in to attack America. This is a military maneuver, folks.
Yeah, real quick, because Venezuela, like I say, Maduro is pro-Russian, he's pro-East. These nations that we're seeing, that's making these alliances outside of the West. Well, Venezuela has ties to that alliance in the East. Iran all right, China and Russia, mainly, okay, and Russia, has brought, certain military hardware to Venezuela. Okay, Iran, has, sent ships to Venezuela. Okay, so what you have is Venezuela, all right, has showed itself to be pro East. Okay, so now what you see with America, okay, they're looking for an excuse to you know tamper with Venezuela, and they really want a regime change. When you see America doing things like this and demonizing the leader, okay, of a nation, they really want regime change so they can put someone that's pro-West in there, all right, so they can be able to keep out, Eastern influence, all right, from the Western Hemisphere, okay, because you've seen also when that Chinese military parade that the Cuban president was there, the president of Cuba, okay, which is in what, the Western Hemisphere. All right, then going back to what, the Cuban Missile Crisis, when Russia was able to put nukes on Cuba, all right, on the shores of Cuba. So, what we're seeing is just a tango, political moves, strategic moves to try to put, to try to posture themselves in the best position possible before the major fighting takes place. So this is what we see, all right, with America tampering with Venezuela, is to try to regime change so they can posture themselves and keep the East, out of the Western Hemisphere. Okay, to keep Eastern military hardware out of the Western Hemisphere, which is closer to what, the mainland of America. Okay, so this is the thing that's going on between America and Venezuela. All right, let me play some more.
And it has many applications. If they get the right intelligence, and I am 100% sure that there is U.S. Special Forces right now on the ground, CIA assets on the ground. They are collecting intelligence. They are tracking the movements of Maduro. And when the time is right, they probably will launch a decapitation strike, just one cruise missile. One Tomahawk cruise missile would obliterate Maduro. And then they would try probably some kind of color revolution to overthrow the government and install a puppet government. So we can control the mineral resources of Venezuela, which has, according to some experts, the world's largest supply of untapped crude oil in the world, even larger than Saudi Arabia, and the second largest deposits of oil, gold and silver and other rare earth minerals. So the most likely scenario is the one I just gave you, that they are protecting the Atlantic side of the ocean. They don't want Russia or China to send in forces. But I've got news for you. China and Russia says they are giving Venezuela their full support. What does that mean? Well, we could actually see emergency flights from both countries flying into Caracas, flying into different parts of Venezuela, unloading military equipment, anti-aircraft missiles. We could even see the deployment, maybe even of the Chinese Navy or Russian Navy, to challenge the American Armada off the coast. Folks, anything is possible. And one reason that Trump has done this is because he knows we're going to war. There is going to be a direct war, not a proxy war, what is going on right now. Not a proxy war. I'm talking about a kinetic shooting war between the United States, NATO, and Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. It's all going to go down. And when is this going to happen? I don't know. But we can all see this playing out like a slow motion train wreck right in front of your internet every single day. It is building up, building up, building up, building up. And at some point, it's going to break. The dam will break loose, and then the floodwaters of war will engulf the entire world. That's what we are facing. Also, Trump did not like the huge military parade that China boasted, displaying all three of their triad, their nuclear triad: missiles, tanks, land forces, air force, before the whole world. It was a show of shows. And all of the United States and NATO's enemies were in attendance. Xi Jinping, President Vladimir Putin, Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus, we have Kim Jong-un of North Korea, and even Modi from India showed up, and other major world leaders, to witness this spectacular parade. And that's what it was, folks. If you watched any of the parade, that's how you put on a military parade. You know, the parade that Donald Trump had in Washington was a joke. That was a joke, folks. Listen, that was a joke compared to North Korea or China or the military parades that Russia does. It's a joke. I mean, our soldiers were walking along like they were going to chow. You know, they were going to eat lunch, or they just got off work and they were going to a bar or something. But you could see the Chinese, they're all in formation doing their goose stepping and their kicks, and all their turns were just on spot. And we got guys just looking, oh yeah, man, whoopee-doo, you know, give me a joint. Oh yeah, I love this military parade of Trump, man. Oh yeah, that's a good, oh yeah, we got one lane of traffic with a bunch of old broken down tanks. You know, and I'm not trying to debase America, but it was. Anybody that says the military parade that Trump put on was a spectacular event, yeah, it was. It was a spectacular failure. I mean, why even do that? You know, Donald Trump has, what do you call it? Dictator envy. That's what he has.
So yeah, just wanted to play Uncle Paul, man, his take on it. You know, which we seen how professional, you know, that Chinese military parade was. You know, and the one that Trump had was considered a joke. You know, and at the end of the day, as we see all these moves being made, okay, let's go here. Let's get a couple more precepts. All right, we see all these moves being made, okay, and it's just setting up the stage, you know, for this third final war. All right, hey, this is the last war of existence, man. You know, because there'll be no more wars after this, and we're seeing everything fall into place just as the scriptures say. So let's get this in Matthew 24. Okay, then we'll get another one in Jeremiah. This is Matthew 24 and 7 says, "For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom." And this is what we're seeing, all these different moving parts. You know, Venezuela is in the mix. You know, Russia, China, North Korea, all these nations in the mix. Okay, Ukraine, Russia, you know, Iran, state of Israel, you know, everybody's in the mix. All these nations, you know, are in the mix against one another, and these different alliances are being formed. And there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, man. Okay? And this is what we're seeing, man. Wars and rumors of wars. All right? Nation against nation. These are the beginning of sorrows, man. Because it's going to constantly escalate worse and worse, man. You know, we're going to constantly see these things escalate. You know, and as prophets, we're going to watch, you know, and report, you know, as we see, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Now, let's go here to Jeremiah 50, okay, and 22. It says, "A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction." Okay, so we see the war drums. We hear the war drums in the spirit beating. Okay, it says, "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder, which is Babylon, which is America, all right, and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nation?" Because this war is going to cut Babylon asunder. It's going to remove it from, okay, the earth. Okay, because when you cut something asunder, you mean you cut something off completely. All right, and America is going to be completely cut off from the earth, man, in this war. It said, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord, Yahweh Bashim al Shah. You see, so this is a snare that's being laid for America, and America is walking straight into it. Them small hats are going to drag America into a conflict, okay, and it's going to be the end of them, okay. So we're seeing the Lord set up these alliances, okay, and the snare is being made that's going to drag America into a war, okay, with the earth, all right, and it's going to be completely destroyed, all right. And it says the Lord had opened up his armory. So you see this military parade and all these missiles and military hardware. Well, that's the Lord's armory we just seen in these Chinese parade. All right. And that's just China. Remember, Iran has an arsenal. Russia has an arsenal. India has an arsenal. North Korea has an arsenal. Pakistan, all right, has an arsenal. Okay. All these different nations. Okay, that's going to come up. You know, Turkey has an arsenal. You see? So that was just one arsenal of many. All right. And then all that hardware is coming over here to America, man. Okay. All that nuclear hardware and missiles are coming to America. So the Lord he's opening up his armory, man. Okay. What Jake has a saying, you know, that they in a bag. All right. Well, the Most High finna go in his bag. Okay. In this Third World War. And he's finna bring some weaponry to the stage, man. Okay, and that ultimate weapon is a Yahweh Shai and those chariots, man. That's part of the Lord's bag as well. You see, it says, and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans, man. Okay, so this is where we at. All right, the Lord's going to show his anger through war. Okay, and this war, this Third World War, is going to wreak havoc in the earth, man. All right. The whole earth is going to change after this war, man. Okay. So that was the point. Just wanted to go into that, you know, certain moves, like I say, certain moves being made. All right. That's going to lead, you know, to this war that we read about. Okay. So we just keep up with it, you know, see how things play out, you know, and Lord will, you know, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edify once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Mkakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.